Hey guys, it's World War II Studios, and today I'm doing another D-Day gear video for the 101st Airborne. I know I did this like a year ago, but I think I've really improved on this impression. This is my 101st Airborne 506 gear. It's not for like any reenactment or anything that I have coming up, so it's just kind of all of my stuff. I mean, it's pretty accurate, but it might not be perfect or like great for one event or anything, since most events are a bit later into the Normandy campaign, so you wouldn't have like a gas mask bag and stuff. I'll just do a quick spin around. So there's kind of an overview of everything. So this is my rifle. Obviously, it's just my same 1942 dated Springfield M1 Grand. I do have my canvas sling on there right now just because I don't have a really good reproduction leather sling. Some canvas slings were used as early as Normandy, but you won't see too much of it. But yeah, so I'm still using that. So for my helmet, as you can tell, it's just a shell with nothing painted on it. This is an original shell that I got not too long ago. It's actually a 1945 shell. Yeah, I do have a I think it's a 1943 dated shell, but that's the one with my engineer symbol painted on the side. So I don't have a spade painted on the side, which some of my reenactor friends have told me that the 506 didn't actually always paint a spade on the side. So yeah, there's nothing there. And it's really just because I didn't want to paint a shell, especially one that's got original paint on it yet. I'd never paint over an original. So then got my original strap on there, and then too, which is like a later war strap. But yeah, I'm just using it for that. And then I do have a helmet net and then scrim on there, which you'll see quite a few 506 people wearing helmet nets and scrim. And then my liner chin strap on there, which is an early war one with green buckle on it. And then my airborne liner, but it's like all new stuff in there from J. Murray. I do have an original, another one, original, which is an airborne one, which still has all the original lining in it, but I didn't feel like putting that one on today and in the shell, so I'm just using this. So then for my uniform, I'm wearing my M42 jump uniform. Yeah, I've had this one for a couple years now. I mean, it's still pretty good. It's like a cheap Chinese production, but it's actually like a pretty high quality one, I guess. But yeah, so I'm not sure if you can tell, but I did CC2 it, so yeah, it's a bit darker, and then there's a bit of white and stuff building up. Not sure how well that shows up on camera, but yeah, so that happened to every paratrooper uniform and like most uniforms that people used on D-Day. It was just to keep the gas out because they were really scared that the Germans were going to be using gas on the troops, but obviously they didn't, so most of them, look in the original photos, there's like photos of them boiling their uniforms, and that's to try to get the CC2 out because it's very thick and heavy, and it makes it a lot hotter. As you can tell here, I'll go a bit more over here so you can sort of see what it looks like, in case the color isn't really showing up too well. So I'm not sure how well you can see that, but from this color to this color here, this is the color that the uniform used to be, because it is just under the pockets. And then this is like the color that it is now, so it's just a bit darker all over. And then there's quite a bit like white spots and stuff like that. Yeah, so you can see how it looks on the trousers. So yeah, what I did, I just took Vaseline, and then you just wipe at it. You just wipe it in till it's kind of like gone, sort of. And then yeah, and then I put some flour on it. And that's how I got the white spots. And that's like while you're putting the Vaseline on. That way it all dry in there at once. So then you're going to want to wait like a couple hours and make sure it's fully dry. And then after that, then you're going to want to iron the uniform. And that is just going to get all the like oiliness off of it. So that way it won't like be oily and get on your gear or anything. Yeah, but I think it looks really good. And yeah, so I mean, it's pretty cheap, and it'll make your impression a lot better. There's quite a few ways you can do it. If you just look it up, there's some other good ways. But yeah, so this is what I did. Dubbing also works well. I just don't have too much of it, so I didn't want to waste it all. So yeah, and then got my jump boots on, and then underneath this I'm wearing my original wool shirt, which I got I don't know, a bit ago, but it's like an enlisted one, so it's accurate and stuff, which they all would have worn on D-Day. So then I'm also wearing my gas breast guard over here, which yeah, most of them took them off like right away because I mean it's really annoying, but I'm just leaving it on here for now, just so you guys can see it. And then I have my 101st Airborne patch on the side as well. So then for my like web gear and stuff, so obviously I'm wearing my M6 gas mask bag, which I think was from like Epic Militaria. I got it for cheap just because they had made it wrong, but I fixed what they had done wrong. So yeah, it's a pretty good gas mask bag, I guess. You know, I'd probably recommend getting at the front, but obviously that's going to be a lot more expensive. So I mean, if you just depends how much you want to spend to get your stuff. Obviously, the more expensive, usually it's going to be a lot better quality, but that's not always true. But yeah, so at the front makes good stuff for most things. And then yeah, so for my web gear, as you can tell, also my pockets are very full, which is very accurate because most paratroopers were planning to stay there at least like 3 days without being resupplied. So I mean, they were full everything. I'm probably not even carrying nearly enough stuff. Lots of them would like totally fill out their musette bag and pockets, and then have like an extra GPMO bag and stuff. But yeah, that's just what I'm wearing for now. So then I've got my at the front bandolier here. I did like make it a bit looser just because you'll see lots of photos of like the 506th in Normandy, where they'll just be wearing their gear kind of not really like too tight or anything. I'm not sure if that's just because they didn't want to have it all on super tight for the photos or anything, or if that's actually how they wore it all. So I tried to capture that a bit. Like, yeah, you also see lots of them carrying their canteen like in the front. I've even seen some of them carrying their shovel in the front, which I would think would be very uncomfortable. But yeah, so I didn't do that. But yeah, so I'm wearing a pistol belt instead of my regular cartridge belt. And that's just because you'll see most of them using rigger pouches and rigger pouches and then the pistol belt instead of a cartridge belt. So I just wanted to do that, especially since lots of reenactors will just use the cartridge belt, which I mean it's accurate, it's just kind of overdone. So yeah. So I've got my 2 rigger pouches here, which are both reproductions. Yeah, they look pretty good, and I just have them full with end blocks. And then right here I've got a bayonet, which you don't really see too many paratrooper reenactors carrying bayonets, but if you look at the original photos, you don't always see them carrying them, but you will see them using them. And then I've seen a couple other photos of them going into Normandy with their bayonet, like right here, right behind their gas mask bag. So I decided to put mine there. So for the shovel, it's a all original shovel, and then an original carrier as well, which is transitional shovel carrier. Yeah, you will see some transitional stuff in Normandy, especially shovel covers. Most of these folding shovel covers were made in the transitional or just fully OD7. But yeah, you'll see quite a few of those. But yeah, other stuff you won't see as much, but you do see some other transitional items being used as early as Normandy. And then I've got my canteen right here on my side, which I don't really like carrying it there too much, just because that's where my rifle usually is. Usually I carry it a bit back further, but yeah, I just wanted to get a bit more of that, how they looked in actually Normandy. But yeah, so then I've got my original Carlisle pouch right here. And then, yeah, so I'm just wearing that in the back, just kind of keep it out of the way. You don't really see any paratroopers wearing it in the front ever, just because it takes up space on your belt, and then you don't have room for your ammo, which is really what you're going to need. So it's an original musette bag, which I got like a year ago. So this is kind of just like an overview of all my web gear, so you can see how it all looks laying out. I didn't really mention the suspenders at all, but they're a reproduction, and then I've got felt pads on there as well. which most paratroopers used during Normandy, but they took them off pretty soon after they landed. It's really just kind of to help make sure that they don't like dig into your shoulders while you're jumping or anything. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it for this video. I kind of went over everything, but I mean, if you really want to do like an airborne impression, I definitely recommend do your research. You'll see lots of reenactors that just like apparently just look at other reenactors or something. I don't know, because it's just not accurate. But I'm not saying that mine's perfect either. I'm always trying to make my impressions better. I mean, obviously, if you see something that's wrong on my impression, let me know in the comments and I'll try to fix it. But yeah, so there's lots of little things you can do just to make it better. Obviously, like filling up your pockets at least a bit. It depends what time you're trying to go for. If it's like a couple days into the Normandy invasion, obviously the gear was very different by then. But yeah, so I mean, just do lots of research, especially like the specific unit you're portraying. So that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.